All folks. Gorst versus Lee Van Corteza. A match here at the International Open.
How you guys doing this evening? Thank y'all for supporting. Hope y'all enjoy the stream. Make sure you share it out. We got Fedor's code up there to make your pay-per-view purchase to your AccuStats subscription for the International Open here in St. Augustine, Florida. It'll be a 9-ball race to 10 alternate break format. Get started here.
Big shout out to Omega Billiards TV allowing us to stream this match to Fedor's YouTube and Omega Facebook page. So that's pretty cool. Pushed out to multiple places. Lee Van won the lag and is the break. Tell you one thing that's been very tough for pros this tournament is to make the one on the side. Normally it's very high percentage shot. Pros are really struggling with it. I'm not sure if it's the template rack, if it's cloth or the cue ball, or maybe a combination of all three. Yesterday the tournament room was very chilly. Today I think it's warmed up quite a bit, so the conditions are changing on them, and you know, these two here, Lee Van and Fedor Gorst, two of the best at adjusting to the conditions. How they handle it. Lee Van with a nice look at the two here. Not sure if he has anything offensive, but nonetheless, at the table and in control here. If he can chop this in the top right corner. If not, we'll see some type of safety here, probably trying to tuck the cue ball under the 7. He could make the shot. And that's the 3 ball down here. Sorry, looked brown to me. Sword up there. Cracking this is Jason's sword.
And Daniel Krapinski.
Get you set up, Daniel.
Pleasure. You guys can catch us live. Of course, we are on Fedor Gorst's YouTube and Omega Billiards YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Follow us for high stakes pool. Ourselves a good one underway. Both very smart players, great shooters, play offense and forward here on lines up nicely onto the 6.
I had breakfast with Lee Van in his steak course this morning. But he was playing well, going really good. Sporting the Omega jersey there. Lee Van really, to me, one of the most underrated players in the world. There are a ton of people talking about him. Extremely consistent, always there. Very, very tough. Well, seeing him here in a little bit over a month at Derby City staple there, and Bigfoot Challenge. Players will be.
And here, coming up to take match. For the first game of this match, race to 10, 9-ball.
Her score already get updated there. Oh, they got the real-time score. We got a slight lag. Nine ball on the spot. There's 3-point players meeting, they said that hit the brake forcefully. Lose your brake if you do so. Free rack. With, I believe it's the template spot, but cue ball. It looks like the measle ball. It's a little bit different. Hits the pack and hits the rack. A little bit different, so these pros are all having to adjust. Looking throughout. Ton of success taking the one ball on the side. Players coming up short with the one ball coming below the side. Best players will adjust and see all the top guys really start to dial it in. And once the tables get a little bit more play and there's not as much slide on the cloth. Yes. Here at Fedor's first break. Been seeing a lot of guys breaking almost dead center trying to spin the wing ball in. Not a lot of success there from Fedor. Ball in hand. Didn't deposit the one ball either there, Daniel.
Unfortunate for Fedor. Lee Van Corteza now. Ball in hand. Got options. And tied up. Full balls over on the left-hand side. Long rail.
It's a little tough to see the colors of the balls. I can't really see the pattern here. I can't tell if it's the 4 ball on the right long rail. I believe it is. Four ball. See right now because of Lee Van's body, but it leads pretty nicely to the 5. Didn't want to bump that, but I think he's okay. Or maybe he was trying to bump it. He touched the table there like he was maybe trying to push the 5 of the side, but that was risky with the 8. He was just trying to miss it all. He'll be okay. Not the 4 ball on the inside. I really can't tell where the 4 is. Can you?
No, it's tough. I believe that's 5.
With the 5-6 on
5-6.
It is the 4. I could have swore that was the 7 ball. He just shot in the side. Did it not look
I
brown
think I
to
need to
you?
get my eyes checked, they say. Got to adjust the videos best as we can here. Big thanks to all the fans for tuning in, making event special.
A brand new venue this year for the International Open. Augustine and World Off Village. Cool place back here. 33-foot tables, and there's a side with 20 per tables, and big as action. And some action week here with table from the U.S. Open, Daniel.
Yeah, that's exciting things. I'm looking forward to it. We watched Lee Van Corteza here in control of this rack. Funny on the 5-6, and you know, playing this position here is going to be difficult and important to go half.
Come off the, I think he might be able to miss the 6 altogether. If not, then he can just come off the top of it. Fortunate. Straight in. Van looking to take a 2-0 lead here. Tell you what, the one thing about this format with the alternate break, if your opponent finds the break and you find yourself trailing, it's tough to come back. 9-ball pool, alternate break. The 10's pretty long race. If you were playing winter break, you'd never feel like you're out. It's this ball. What are your thoughts on the alternate break or winter break format?
It's a big swing either way. One format I wouldn't necessarily say would, favor the stronger player over the other, in my opinion. I've seen Tyler Steyer come back on Mario. When he was down and Mario missed the 9 ball and he was on the hill, and it, winter break gave Tyler the ability to come back, but alternate break is exciting, just as exciting. Just
Yeah.
got to know how to control the table and play the shot.
So I'm not a big fan of the alternate break format. I really believe that when you do it, you take away something that the fans really like about 9-ball pool, and that's the packages and the ability to grab a hold of the table and keep it. But not only that, if you see a big deficit in this format, it's very, very tough to come back.
Right?
Nice back
That's
shot
true.
there from Fedor. Nice recovery. But, like
The
two players at this
excitement.
caliber, Daniel, if like, let's just say the deficit's 8-2, and one of the players scratches on the break or whatever, I mean, they're not out of the match. If you're down 8-2 in alternate break format playing 9-ball at this level, you're out of the match. It's over. I mean, it's statistics.
You wouldn't get that excitement. Yeah, you wouldn't get that excitement that you would winter break format. Watching somebody come back down 6-7 rack. That's really exciting as we watch. Better tied up here now. 1-1 in this race to 10. International Open.
Both players holding serve there. Lee Van to break on the odd number racks. He did win the lag. Fedor Gorst with an 8.43 Fargo and Lee Van with an 8.18. Both world-class players. Anything above 800 is world-class. Unbelievable to see the talent here in St. Augustine this week. A little disappointed, though, didn't see a ton of Asian players. You do have Yap and missing a lot, missing both of the Ko brothers, missing really, and I don't think there's any Taiwanese players, no Chinese players, no DeLuna, no Chua. So, some of the top Filipinos not here, top Taiwanese not here. Really surprised by that with the 75,000 added number.
Yeah.
A lot of tournaments right now. Always easy to make the trip for one event all the way across the world. Lee Van with a ton of body movement there. And you notice how the cue ball went up table, so he drew the ball a ton. Really concentrating on getting the one ball down. But he hit that ball pretty full. See if he stays offensive here, though, Daniel. He does have a look at the 2.
A lot of distance to cover here on this 2.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We are playing on 4.5-inch pockets. And I know a number of years ago those were tight, but now with Matchroom and all the other events going to tighter equipment, 4-inch pockets, that when they start playing on these 4.5-inch pockets, it feels like a bar table to these pros. So you're seeing them take on a lot more offensive shots.
Play a little more than normally would.
The player that wins this tournament will be ultra aggressive. I can guarantee you that. Whoever it may be.
Lee Van opts with the safety on that shot now, and you know how good of a jumper Fedor is.
Yeah, and this is going to be a jump safe here. I think he's going to try to hit the bottom side of the 2 and try to bring the cue ball right back to where it is. And if he hits it with the proper pace, really would like the 2 ball all the way up table, about the center diamond. We'll see if Fedor can get enough of the 2, miss that 4 ball, and get the cue ball to come right back to where it is right now. See, that's what we're going to see him try to do. See how well he executes. And he did just that. See how it went right up in the center diamond there. Got the cue ball underneath. Got nice cover.
Nice tuck. Yes.
Very nice shot there. And that was exactly what he was trying to do. Executed perfectly. A lot of distance.
Maybe even locked to the there. Close.
That's another thing. That's a great point there. Anytime you get the cue ball on the rail, it takes away a lot of options for the pros. to hit the top half of it. So it makes the jump a little bit more difficult. And I think we're going to see Lee Van go to the short cue here. All these balls in the bottom right-hand corner. Be a little tough. Quite some distance between the white ball and that. Those 3 balls there that he's going to have to clear. He may just have to get over the edge of the 8, though. That will definitely impact the outcome
here. Yeah.
I think I don't if he has to clear the 9, it'd be really tough to control a white ball. He missed it altogether, and he broke the balls up.
Not good.
So very unfortunate there for Lee Van. Nice safety shot by Fedor. And that is the difference in the Fargo rating right there. A lot of people say that Fedor Gorst is the best jumper in the world. And definitely a lethal, deadly weapon in a 9-ball pool. Not always used for offense, Daniel. You notice there, that was a jump safe. Gave him an opportunity to take the lead here early. One thing you don't want to do when you're playing Fedor Gorst is give him a ton of time at the table to get comfortable.
Right. Playing the alternate break format, you know, stay ahead, keep the pressure on.
Good point. And this is Lee Van's break. We need to hold serve against this young man, Fedor Gorst, 24 years old, out of Moscow. He's going to be representing Team USA here in a few weeks. Orlando, just a few hours away from us. Really adding a nice strength to Team USA. It's Fedor Gorst. Team USA is actually having a little bonding time this week at the International Open. They all are sharing an Airbnb off-site here. So
We were working on the table yesterday, trying to get the break figured out all in here, and they'll make action room.
very much a team effort, and honestly, tell you the truth, I think that the energy and the team camaraderie this year is going to be the difference maker. I think Billy Thorpe was a nice addition for that.
I agree.
Obviously, absolutely gutted and devastated for my good friend Oscar Dominguez not making the team, but
You're kind of funny on the 5-ball here.
I think he's okay. You'll see him utilize both cushions, so he's gonna hit this long rail, and he's gonna come underneath of the side pocket, kind of Z into position here, just like so. 1, 2, boom, boom, big zone.
A wonderful thing to watch here as he caught the 6 and continued the run, pressing against Lee Van Corteza.
Notice where he put his cue there. I think he's looking at the absolute furthest spot that he can get. He'll maintain position on the 8. Obviously doesn't want to stream cut on the 8. Doesn't want to flirt with the 9 hooking him. Slow down. I was actually kind of surprised that he risked it there. I think he's okay. Another couple of revolutions and he would not have been. Perfect cue ball though.
Beautiful shot.
Like that, Fedor Gorst takes the lead 2-1 here. And he will have the break. Pretty brutal draw, honestly, for Fedor. You got this is a seeded event, so it is a WNT ranking event, which requires tournaments to seed the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And Fedor was the #1 seed. And
oh, wow.
Tell you what, obviously I don't know who he played in the first round, but his second round match was against Naoki Oi, who's also a world-class player. I think he's ranked 24th right now in WNT rankings. And a threat to win any tournament. Obviously, with 100+ players here, to play Naoki Oi in the second round is very, very tough. And then round 3, Lee Van Corteza. A very tough draw for Fedor Gorst.
Fedor Gorst will have the break here. This is kind of an important spot that Lee Van needs to pay attention to and not let this match with preparation. Mr. Gorst steps up to break.
Yeah, and if you want to check out the bracket, go out to digitalpool.com. You can check all the live scores. The players do have a tablet at their table that allows them to keep scores, so you can keep up-to-date scores live. Once again, Fedor unsuccessful in making the one ball on the side, and he's going to turn the table over to Lee Van. Lee Van has the opportunity to even the score here and get his break back. Notice how that ball came short, though. You see how the one ball came short of the side pocket? Struggles there. The winner of this match will play the winner of Robbie Capito and Jonas Suto.
That'll be good.
Oh, yeah, tough draw.
Jonas, another world-class player.
Yeah. Well, Robbie Capito's a favorite there, but by a slim margin, I would say. Both great players. Playing 9-ball, it's a coin flip at this level. All these matchups.
Huh.
Lee Van can forget about the 6-ball he missed in the last rack. 2 racks ago. Hey, what? Cledio Kachi. Clint Kachi's younger brother. Really showing up. Taking down Team USA this week. He beat Skylar Woodler last night 10-1. And then he also defeated Billy Thorpe today 10-3. I think we're gonna have a special guest here, Daniel. We might be giving you the boot.
Oh, all right.
I think we Freezer, Scott Frost here. Looking to hop in the booth with Jay Diddy. What's up, Freezer? Crowd pleaser.
What's up, buddy?
We're back at it, man. Like we haven't spent enough hours here.
You teased me. You said Fedor was playing in here.
Yeah, Fedor is playing right on the TV you're watching.
Oh my goodness gracious!
We're live on Omega Billiards.
Pardon me, then. You
Facebook
really
page.
you really left me there. I was looking at the table in front of us. There's a couple other guys playing, and didn't realize we are semi-remote here.
Semi-remote. We are.
Excellent.
Lee Van looking to tie it up here, Scott.
Yeah, you talk about somebody else that's playing really good. It just always seems like Corteza in the conversation.
Yeah, I was just saying that. I think he's probably one of the most underrated players in the world. He's always there. Definitely a tough draw in any format, in any tournament.
Yeah, back and forth here with the cue ball. He wants to make contact with the 8, I think, versus try to avoid it, and that's where you see him putting his tip. Miss the 8 here, you could get snookered. I think you've got to let the stroke out unless he wants to try and baby it, but then, Jay, you can land on top of the ball.
Yeah, and the other thing is if he comes really short here, he's going to have to work the cue ball up and down to get back to the 8. He missed the 6 again. That's the second 6-ball he missed. He did exactly like you said, though, Scott. He let it out. Missed the ball.
Yeah, he was ended up on the wrong side of the 7. If the 7 passed the 8, he'd have been okay, but I don't believe he did. This is not straightforward. I think you've got to put all your focus into just knocking this ball down, right, Jay?
Yeah, you got to go all in here and just take what you get.
Yeah, the best in the business at leveling out. Cue ball might actually track to the 8. This could turn out nice. Gorst, in my opinion, probably the best in the world at this shot. I am surprised. I thought that he would go with that, but clearly did not. I was surprised at that decision. I'm just going to call it like it is. I thought he would take a cut at that. Now you can cross the face of this ball and just land over on the left side of the 8 and knock the 6 past the 7, right?
Yeah.
Was I looking at that shot incorrectly, Jade? I thought it was cuttable.
No, I think it was cuttable. I think it was just extremely difficult. You maybe just
Okay.
mishit it. Did just like you said.
Yeah, I don't believe that Fedor was playing that 2 rails up there the way he did. I think you're right.
I think he just missed
mishit
it. Yeah. He
Okay.
just missed the ball, I believe.
Okay.
Gonna see a soft spin kick here.
Oof. Really got to get out around the 8. Is he looking to jump this? Looking to jump this.
He's jumping this ball. He's gonna have to land on the 6 here, Scott.
Nobody better at this as well. I jinxed him last time. Do it this time. Goodness gracious, Jake. How good is this guy at jumping the ball?
Landed right on it, didn't he?
Cue ball where he needed it to be. Even if he didn't get to where he can make the 7, he can stick him underneath the 8. Cannot ask for anything more than that. I mean, most people aren't even looking at that shot as a possibility. When I say most people, I'm talking about most pros.
See what he draws up here, Scott, if he's going to opt to go defensive or if he has the shot here on the 7. If he has the shot on the 7, I think you're going to see him work up and down.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's digging in, so I think he's playing safe.
Don't fluke the 7 2 rails into the lower left if that's the case. But if it's makeable, I think he does have to go down.
The fact that he's digging into the cue ball tells me he's playing safe, though, right?
What it looks like. Roll there. Make matters even worse. He's cut this right long rail off due to the 9 in position where the 7 is at.
Yeah, this is a Z kick, right? That's all he's got.
Yeah, I don't think he can get 2 rails to the bottom side of the 7, so the Z, where it be. Ball's going to lengthen out on you a little bit. He was aware.
What a nice hit.
Yeah, nice hit for sure. And actually, a little work to do here.
I'm not sure he can go offensive here, Scott.
It's landed in really an awkward position, especially where the 9 is. If he decides to swerve with an outside ball, he's got to avoid that.
Was he just looking at 3 in the side?
I mean,
He was lining it up.
I think he was lining up the cue ball. Was he
Yeah,
really
he is.
lining that
No,
up?
no. I think he's just trying to get the 7 past the 9. Probably going to use the 9 for some cover.
Yeah, very. Get a sliver of it, Jay. I don't know if it's enough to make it. Boy, it's pretty good from Gorst from there.
Very well executed, but like you said, Lee Van may have a shot here, Scott. Nothing easy. Maybe able to deposit this ball.
Checking it with an inside ball, so watch the top left corner. Rolling.
And he has left the whole ball here, so I think Fedor can take the cue ball up behind the 8. That's what he was looking at, right? Coming across the top of this 7 ball and trying to take the cue ball 2 rails under the 8. Look at this. See if he can get it even close.
Into
What do you see here, Scott?
Right. He might have to just be aggressive here, Jay. I mean, the thin side of this 7 is just as tough as the bank. I don't know if he can bank this and stun the cue ball around 2 rails. I don't know. It's really tricky. He could just roll the 7 over to the... Yeah, I think he's taking on the bank, Jay.
Yeah. Like you, I think the safety's just as tough as the offense.
Oh, this is an interesting play here.
Swinging it around there. See what Fedor decides to do right here, Scott. Take on the cut.
It's just been a crazy game here on this 7 ball.
Cut, or does he play for the safe behind the 8?
I think he's going to duck again. Just using the 9. Oh, the speed's perfect here.
Yeah, that may be a game winner right there, Scott.
And putting all the effort into the object ball there versus worrying about what the cue ball is doing.
Have an opportunity for a kick and stick here, though.
Really got to dig here. What a game this has turned out to be. I'm so glad I showed up. Gorst, guarantee you, going at this bank.
This is getting shot at.
I mean, this has been a wild game on this 7. You guys are grinding. Oh, is he thinning the left side of the 7 here?
He's thinning the left side, and he's going to use the 8 ball to stop the 7 and bring the cue ball behind the 9.
I think it's gotten personal now. They both want to earn the shot due to a safety play, but I don't know about that. I thought he's so good at the straight back. I thought that might be the right play for him. Lee Van afraid to take the bank on now. Kind of a two-way play, Jay, right? If you don't make it, you leave distance.
Yeah, I think this one lays a little better than what Fedor's did. A lot of body movement from Lee Van. Is he going to get away with it, though?
Yeah, and touching on your point with the body movement, I think if there's a weakness of Lee Van's, and he'd be the first to admit it, he does have quite a bit of body movement after contact, and that does not help him.
Better have the ability to chop this ball in.
I think you can hold the cue ball if you can. It's steeper than it looks for us.
What does he do if he doesn't have anything offensive? Just play the 7 back to the 8 and try to put the cue ball behind the 9 again?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, catch the 7 heavy towards the 8 one round. Use the 9 again.
This is like 10 innings on the 7 ball here.
Yeah, it's literally been one of the craziest games I've seen. When you're coming down to an object ball like this, especially when there's only 3 balls on the table, it's just pretty wild.
Especially with 4.5-inch pockets.
Yeah, very wild. You don't see that very often, do you?
No, not 9 ball, not at this level.
I mean, all stemming really from that Z kick that Lee Van made early that just kind of fortunately laid funny in the lower right for Fedor. Now what?
Does he try to stiff this bank?
This is probably the toughest position he's been in, and stiffing the bank is doable, it looks.
I agree with you, though, with that 8 ball being off the short rail. Now all of a sudden it feels like the table's more open.
Yeah, this is danger. Whatever he chooses here, he better do it well.
And like that. And like going off the right side of that ball.
Oh, he had a razor edge that ball going that way. That's kind of why I was touching on the bank earlier, Jay, right? Like, even if the bank is tough, at least you're taking a chance to win the game. And I think that, to your point, it was makeable there. He had to stiffen it quite a bit.
Well, one thing that I touched on earlier, the player that not only wins this match, but is going to win this tournament is going to do it by being aggressive and taking on the offensive looks. You don't see a player winning these types of events at this level playing passively. They're always ultra aggressive after the break, and they're usually doing it with the break and then with offense after the break.
Funny you say that. I was watching Sky's match, and I told Sky this last night. Skyler played a match last night, and he was just really passive throughout the match, and I was a little surprised 3 or 4 shots during that match that he passed up playing young Cleddy Okachi. That I don't think Skyler in the fluid motion or in the heat of battle is going to pass up. So to your point, got to be aggressive to win this tournament.
And a missed 8 ball there from Fedor Gorst.
Understandably so. Even that 8 didn't lay great. Better kind of decelled on the 7. Should have come out more. Really tough to cut that ball as thin as he did. or as thin as he needed. Catch it thick with that speed on the cue ball, so it's not going to work out for Fedor. I don't believe.
They both got in one pocket stroke there. Lee Van, ton of body movement once again, Scott. It
Yeah.
tells me he's not feeling great, right? Like if he was hitting the ball clean and feeling great, he wouldn't be moving like that.
Well, to your point, right? They were ducking, were playing a defensive play, 10 or 11 innings in a row there. Definitely doesn't get the stroke going too fluid too quickly.
Nonetheless, Lee Van tying it up there. And he will win his break back. An alternate break format here if you're just now tuning in. Race to 10. Lee Van won the lag, so he will break on the odd games. We're in here remote commentating from the action room in Omega, and we got good action going on in the background. Scott, we'll have to tune back in if you're out there on Fedor's YouTube channel. Make sure after this match you tune in to Omega Billiards on Facebook.
The balls were just completely swiped all over the table. I don't think it was a big problem. I think they're kind of joking around, but we don't really know what they're saying because we don't speak Spanish. I'm going to take one quick second, Jay. I'll be right back. I promise.
And Lee Van, a little short on the one ball again. He did make the wing ball. I believe he does have an offensive look at the one here. Cluster balls in the middle of the table with the 2, 8, the 2 and the 7. If he chooses to go offensive. Trying to kill the cue ball for the 2 in the side. Or cut the ball just a hair. Shot it to the wrong side of the pocket. Or to stop the cue ball. Took care of the number 1 rule. He did make the ball. Has some options here. Kind of safety he likes. Oh, he was able to cut the 2. Nice shot. Excellent shot there from Lee Van. Oh, he's all about this shot here from the 5 to the 6. Nice angle to do it. He drops below the 9 ball here. And to capture a 1-game lead again here is Lee Van. Just squeaked that one in. Doesn't want it to land on the rail or straight here. Just enough, but I do think he's going to have to draw this ball back. You may see him elevate here. And this shot a little bit more difficult. A good angle. Out here from Lee Van. 2 balls away. Gaining the lead. All right, Scott's back with us. I got to ask you, Freezer, what's your prediction? Moscone Cup
Oh boy.
2024. Who's victorious?
Well, there's so many variables, right? I think it's vital, and I think Sky's doing the right thing. I think it's vital that these guys really, really become a team, and what I mean by that is when a mistake's made, just encourage the other guy. No negativity, none whatsoever. No negativity in the body language, no negativity any way, shape, or form. I think it's vital for this team. Europe is so good at that. And when you come into a team environment, I think there's a lot more at play than just how you play, but also how you act. That's my vital opinion. I mean, I think it's very important. We did see an anomaly at the Reyes Cup, though, in my opinion, and it did tell us something, right? Those guys, the Asian teams, you know, they don't play together or work together very much. A lot different scenario with Team USA. But
Yes, definitely. By far the weakest Team Europe that we've seen.
yeah, I just
Probably in
don't.
the last decade, really.
Yeah, I just don't think the focus should be there, though.
Well, listen.
That should not be the mindset of Team USA.
No, I'm not saying that it's the mindset
It
of the
shouldn't
Team
even be in
USA.
their mind, though, right?
I'm just saying as
I
a
know.
spectator,
Sure.
it's definitely the weakest Team Europe that we've seen. No Filler, no Albin. Both have really been the stars of the Cup the last few years. And it definitely makes it winnable.
Oh, it's winnable. I think it's winnable with. Look at this break. And Fedor's great at it. Coming off the long rail with the cue ball. I think it's winnable any year. I think there's key moments where we get behind and it really just unravels for us mentally.
I think the difference this year is Team USA has the 2 best players. With SVB and Fedor, I think they have the 2 best players.
I
Maybe
fully
not in
agree.
that format, but the 2 best players in the event.
I fully agree. But once again, I resort to mindset and attitude. I think it's massive, right? You're never going to have that issue with Sky or Fedor. You just got to watch out for any negative signs. There's a couple guys on the team that can portray that, and I think that as long as that's under control and they understand, they're going to make mistakes and not play perfect. The attitude's got to be positive at all times. I just think it's so important. I've watched it from a distance over the years. That's really where we lose it.
Definitely where it was lost last year in Europe. Overshooting his mark just a little bit there, Scott. I think he got the full snooker. Gave up the edge of the 2, it appears.
Yeah, I don't know what he can do with it, Jay. 8's covering up the cross corner, or the 4, excuse me. Or at the cross side.
Yeah, can he... There's some way of him getting the cue ball back down underneath the 7-8.
Yeah, if he can
Pushing
catch
the
enough
2.
of it. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if he can catch enough of that, though. Even just chipping the 2 over there past the 5 would be okay, and leaving the cue ball kind of towards that middle diamond on the left long rail up there. I don't know, but
I think he's going to try to bring the cue ball back up here.
so he can see more than I think.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to bring the cue ball back down underneath the 7-8. That was the shot.
Yeah, he used an inside ball, though. Tricked me.
Yes.
That was about as good as you could
That's
do.
as good as it gets right there.
Yeah, I didn't think he could do that. He managed to catch that long rail first. It was impressive. Very thin hit on the 2.
Better goes to the short cue here, though. He may be able to make this 8-ball. He kicks off, or if he jumps off the bottom of this deuce, Scott, that's a big 8-ball laying there right in front of the side.
He's so good at getting over these balls in close range, and this is a lot more of the 9 he's got to get over than it looks.
I think that's what he's drawing up, right? He's trying to stay offensive here. You're looking at making the ball on the side off the carom.
Yeah, I think that the 8's definitely, or the 4's definitely a bigger ball than the 2. Got to really catch mid 2 ball here without a lot of English, but he's elevated so high, he could over amp this cue ball. Oh my goodness.
And executed perfectly once again with the short cue is Fedor Gorst.
That's the percentage I think that makes Fedor different than everybody else, especially in the long run.
That's the difference between being an 818 Fargo and an 843. Just something that small.
You know, when
Just
Fedor
one
and
aspect
Shane
of the
played
game.
that match, right? I really expected in the long run for that right there to be the difference in the match.
Well, it was just the wrong way. Fedor jumped so bad in that match.
He did. He did. He started to jump better later on, but boy, he missed.
Down the stretch, he missed some really key jump.
He missed some jumps I never expected.
Get a nice look at the 2-ball here. I believe the 5 is the next one in order. We'll see him draw out here.
Yeah, is he using, sometimes misleading with the low balls? He using a low inside here.
Yeah. Out and around. Out there. The bounce.
I believe he can go forward.
Really would like to be kind of close to the 6 here. He's got some work to do from the 6 to the 7.
Yeah, anywhere middle table. Even over where he is now almost.
Yeah, really any type of angle and close to the 6 ball is ideal. No, he's confusing me. That's the 3 ball. I thought it was the 7. Makes it play quite a bit easier, Scott.
Yeah, the
The
ball
rack.
looked, I'm going to be honest, the ball looked like the 7 to me as well.
Yeah. Here we go. Now we're on the 5.
What a jump by Gorst. I mean, that jump, Karen, being so close to the 9, to be able to control the speed of the cue ball, not to overamp the cue ball there. Very, very amazing. And in these short races, there's a race to 10 is a short race. I don't care who you are at this level. That is such a big factor.
Scott's earned him 2 games so far in this after 7 racks. Or 6 racks. Jump cue has won him 2. Well, no, I'm sorry, he missed the 8-ball. That
Should have won him to.
should have won him
Yeah.
2. Yeah. Rack number 7, Lee Van to break. Playing with the Outsville template rack. 9 on the spot. No 3-point rule is in effect. 9 is on the spot. There's a 18-inch break box in the center of the table. 9 inches from each. 9 inches each way from the center. Definitely have seen players mixing it up. Usually you see them go right all the way to the edge of the break box, Scott. I've seen a lot of people in the tournament room breaking from dead center trying to spin the wing ball in. Neither one of these players are utilizing that break. Both of these players are trying to cut the one in the side. That's the main objective here, Scott. And Lee Van a little bit more center here. Look, he's a little bit closer to center. He's not at the edge of the break box.
No, not by any means.
We're going to see him draw this ball and hit it pretty thick with the draw on that cue ball.
Wasn't even close. The 9 tracking to the top right. He must have got a good kiss on the 1 somewhere along the way, Jason. but the one was way short of the right-hand side pocket.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing. Lee Van's going to have to fix that break because that's not going to get it done. It may get it done in this match, but it's not going to. The winner of the tournament will not break the balls like that. I can promise you that, Scott.
No, that's a fact. I just commentated on the AccuStats channel, and I'll tell you what, though, both of those guys broke almost flawlessly. Tally made a couple errors at 2 games apiece, and really, I was, pleasantly surprised. Nice to see how Katie play well. Played really well throughout that match.
Yeah, and this is a tough rollout here with the 9-ball laying over the hole, Scott. What do you do? What do you like?
I would consider just rolling the 9 in. I think that's
Yeah.
what you've got to do here.
I think he's just going center diamond here. I don't like it. I'm like you. Go ahead and put that 9 back up on the spot and try to extend the game, right?
Yeah, that was extremely dangerous. I mean, at least you've got insurance if Fedor makes the long shot, right? 9's not hanging up in the corner. It's coming down on the spot. But here, boy, dangerous. I mean, Fedor could take a whack at the bank here and just run the cue ball into the 3, but at worst, got a good look at the 2. Only concern is the cue ball's tracking towards the 5 and the 8. Maybe that's what Lee Van's banking on. No pun.
Yeah, and with the cue ball being so close to the short rail, it makes it a little tougher to bank the 2 up. See, though, Lee Van's getting it back.
Yeah, that's going to tell us how difficult this really is.
Does he try to thin this ball and take the cue ball up toward the 9?
Know if you can catch it thin enough, man. That's such a thin hit. The 2's going to just kind of lay up there out in the middle of no man's land. I don't know that that's any good. Might take a bank at this.
Yeah, and he lost his cue ball there, Scott. I think he was trying to play the white behind the 5.
Yeah, maybe catching the 2 a bit thinner, or excuse me, thicker. Getting the 2 past the 8. 4.
Up here, this 2 is playable in the left-hand side pocket. Have a hot cue ball, though.
Well, he could play the 2 into the 9. One right.
What he's drawing up. It is a big ball where it's setting, too. He could hit the short rail and still make the 9. And if he hits it long, he can still make the 9. Or hits it short, rather. Short or long, he can make this. This is a big 9-ball, Scott.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the only damage is catching a piece of the 4. So if he does miss the 9, he's going to miss the 9 by long, what Jason's saying. He's going to definitely going to play it to the long end. Hit it with some speed. He wants to shorten this ball up. No. Oh, my goodness. He caught it in the only place you could catch it. And not only miss the 9, but take it out.
Wow. I'd like to get the replay of that.
Yeah, that is 1 in a million. He had to hit it with the speed to shorten the 2 up, and speed is what caused the 9 to come out.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was the speed, right? That was all about hitting it a little bit too firm, but it's exactly what you said. He wanted to make sure he got it past the 4, so he banked it long and shortened it up with speed. Last leave in with an opportunity to regain a 1-game lead.
Yeah, not an easy one. Yeah, and just where the 4 is and where the 5 is, Fedor's still got a lot of work to do as well. It seems like Fedor, when the balls lay tough, watched him play so much, obviously not as much as you, Jay, but when the balls lay tough, this kid seems to really excel.
I don't think he's going to like this. He's playing for that's the 3. I keep thinking the 3's the 7.
Yeah, it's a little.
Well, I think he's landed on the perfect angle to get right on the short side of the 4, right?
Yeah, I think that he actually has more angle than it even looks. I think you're correct. I think he can come to the short side. At worst, he can play up to the top left. 4. Perfect. He'll just get anywhere straight. He'll be thrilled with the 5 unless he wants to come back and take the steep cut.
Yeah, I don't really like that. I like getting straight on the 5. Especially if the 6 passes the 8 in the side. 6 passes in the side left-hand side pocket. I think you get straight on this 5. What do you like here, Scott?
Yeah, I agree. Even if the 6 doesn't pass the 8, I don't think that you take the chance in taking this steep cut because the 5 is off the rail. Anywhere over there is okay. Because you can go forward if you're not dead flat on the 5. You can go forward if you have to, or you can come back with a lot of power. I think you just take your medicine. Take the long ball on the 5.
Yeah, and has a big window to fall in, and he's got a nice angle now. Like you said, he has options here.
Yeah, might not get too close to his work here, but taking the long ball again, just fine for Gorst.
Think he just pops this out, or you think you go ahead and follow it?
I wouldn't have a problem popping it out. I think that's what he does.
Accept the distance here and just stun out.
Yeah, because I don't really think it's as long as we think, right? Well, that's not going to get it.
Is he straight? Did he just straight snooker himself?
Unless this is completely misleading. That's not going to get it. He caught the 5 too thick. That's what happened there. Caught the heavy side of the pocket. Otherwise, there's no way you can end up behind the 7 like he did. This is a big error, Jason. He had, like you said, plenty of angle. He just caught the 5 too heavy. And the problem now is that 8's a big ball, so he can't just stun off the short or the long rail past the side. He's going to have to spin into the 6. So he needs a little luck here.
You're exactly right. We're going to see some right-hand spin from this ball. Made a good hit. You going to get rewarded? I do not believe so. So, Lee Van with 4 balls here. An unforced error from Gorst.
Yeah, and that'll be just fine. From one rail out if you'd like.
This is both players' first match of the day here, round 3, the International Open. 9:30 start time. A little tough on players, you know it. Sitting around all day like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. Sometimes frustrating when you play too many matches, but then when you don't play but one, it can definitely get to you as well.
The one positive for Gorst is his break. What do you think about this format, Scott? I was talking to Daniel earlier about the alternate break format. Are you a fan, or you prefer winter break?
Well, I think the alternate the break makes it more difficult. I think you see closer matches, but we just had this talk in the booth in the other room, and Mark Wilson was saying that Pat Fleming has proved that the alternate break results and scores have turned out to be the same as a winter break.
In what regard?
We didn't get to that point. It was during some type of a break, and then players showed back up, and I was going down that road, and we never got there. I'd like to see the stats. My opinion, I think it all really comes down to the table. You know how I am. I'm a big proponent of pockets. I think if you've got a 4-inch pocket, the alternate break really, I don't think that it's a big difference. Or winter break. I don't think it's going to show as much. I think you're going to have closer matches regardless on tight pockets. With a pro cut pocket on the diamond, 4.5 inches, I think the winter break format, you're going to see more packages, I think it's going to be a little bit more exciting for the fans.
Well, that was my point earlier, and that's what I said with Daniel. The big thing for me, I think you're taking away something that the spectators love. And that's why I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, I hate to see somebody get down 8-2 and feel like they can't win. In a winter break format on 4.5-inch pockets playing 9-ball, you're down 8-2 and you're Joshua Filler. You're never out of it.
Funny you say that. That's exactly what my rebuttal was to Mark Wilson. And Mark said, well, he said a high-end match, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was Efren and like Siegel or somebody, but somebody was up 10-0 in the alternate break format versus Efren. And Efren come back and won.
In a race to what, 100?
11.
No chance.
He said that it's on camera.
Well, I mean, that's 1 in a million, right?
No, I agree. But that was his
happen.
example, right? No, and I agree. That was my whole point, actually, Jay, is I said, well, because I think Vitali was down 8-2. I said the mental side alone of being down 8-2 in an alternate break format can devastate you.
Yeah, you're cooked like a Thanksgiving turkey if you're down 8-2 in a race to 10 alternate break playing 9-ball in 4.5-inch pockets. Statistically speaking, you're gonna win.
Typically, but that's exactly right.
I mean, it's not 0%, but it's
you're
damn close to it.
A very, very, very big underdog. Whereas if it's winter break, you've still got a real chance.
Well, I mean, obviously you're down 8-2 in a winter break format. If you're down 8-2, it's probably for a reason. It's probably because you're not breaking the balls as well as your opponent. So you're probably still a big, obviously you're still a big underdog. But if you capture the table and you find the break, you can still win. You need luck. You need your opponent to scratch. You need some goofy stuff to happen in the alternate break format to even have a chance to win. You can play perfect from there and still lose.
That's correct. Absolutely.
Yeah, but
once again, I think that dictates what type of table you're playing on as well, though, right? Which is where I feel like a standard needs to be set in the industry with a certain type of table. I do, but
no, I mean, I agree with you, and I gotta say, when I went to the U.S. Open and they very first introduced the 4-inch pockets, I'm like, this is crazy. 4 inches, like, I'm a big fan of 4.25. I think you've talked about it. I think 4.25 is the best pocket for all games. It's not a slop jar. It's tight enough to where you have to hit the pocket. You got to play the right balls. You got to play the right patterns. You can't just recover easily like you can on these.
I fully agree.
But I will say this. As a spectator, the first year that Matchroom went to 4-inch pockets at the U.S. Open, it was by far the best event that I've ever been a spectator at. And I ate my words. I said, look, I said it. I think that 4 inches is too tight, but after that tournament,
it was genius.
It is perfect. And the reason why, I know Greg Sullivan took a lot of heat when he introduced the Pro Cut pocket, 4.5 inches. But the players are so good now. The equipment is so good. The technique, the ability to watch on YouTube. We have so many players that shoot so straight and that are so efficient at the table. 4 inches is what they need.
It is what they need. Now, if you're a pool room owner, I think 4.25-inch pockets is ideal. If you have, and I'm not saying every table, but if you have high-end players in your room, have 2 tables that are 4.25, it'd be great to have all of them. But like you say, I think for an all-around game, whether it's one pocket, bank pool, 9-ball, 10-ball, 8-ball, 4.25-inch pockets are ideal. But boy, for this level of player, I haven't seen anything like what I've seen being able to commentate for Matchroom in the last couple of years. At the level that these guys play at with those pockets, it's absolutely.
Well, and the other thing to consider when you're playing in a tournament or you're playing in an event like the Moscone Cup or you're playing at the U.S. Open, those tables get played on for a week. They're still brand new. Like, you could sell those tables as brand new. You put it in a pool room, you got to change that cloth every month if you're going to have a 4-inch pocket.
That's right. Absolutely right, because it's really going to tighten up.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think 4 inches under these conditions is perfect. The balls are fresh out of the box. Big shout out to Aramith. They do a ton and make sure that these all top-level pro events get brand new sets of balls. Balls are brand new. Cloth is brand new. Then you put them in the TV arena, there's lights. The ball, I mean, yeah, they're 4-inch pockets, but they play a little bigger.
They do play a little bigger, and you know me, I'm a big proponent of aramith balls just because um, I know immediately when they're not aramith balls, and it makes such a difference. The pros, there is not a single pro on the planet that you could talk to in a private room, out back, or anywhere, if you're just talking to them one-on-one, that wouldn't say that aramith is the best ball. It makes a huge difference.
You know what? I would say the exact same thing about a diamond pool table.
Absolutely. It's true.
I think a lot of
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the best. We're watching the best right here. It's the best cloth, the best balls, best table.
I'm just a stickler when it comes to pocket size. I think these guys are so good that these pockets at times make them lazy.
Yeah, I agree. Like that right there was lazy. I can't believe what the balls that we've seen missed, with Lee Van missing the 6 ball, Fedor missing the 8 ball, and then that 5 ball right there. I mean, the 8 ball was tough, but that 5 ball right there is going to make that 90 of 100, Scott.
Especially coming with the good jump shot he just came with. But don't get me wrong, it's in the back of these guys' mind initially when they show up, they're used to playing on 4-inch pockets. They know that they're pro cuts, which are 4.5, correct, Jason?
Right.
In the back of their mind, it's like going from, I'll just make a silly analogy, it's like going from a snooker table to a bar table. The problem then becomes taking the pocket for granted, and the diamond is still a diamond. It's got the true cut, and it's going to hold the ball up like we just saw there on the 5.
Yeah, Lee Van getting a little steep here, Scott. Less than ideal. Obviously, he can still manage it, but you expected him to get a little better from that position.
Forced to go to the lower left.
A big favorite from here. Ooh, just snuck it in, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. If it catches any of that point, that ball is not going.
But yeah, I completely agree. I think there needs to be a standard. Needs to be a standard set on pocket size and all the equipment.
Yeah, just I think it's a little bit more difficult than it sounds.
I know. I do really like the referee rack with a template, not on the spot, 2 placed randomly. I'm not a big fan of the 3-point rule.
Funny, we were talking about that just last match as well, and I agree. I especially, alternate break. If you're allowed to break them every other game, and you're only getting an opportunity every other game, then you should be allowed to break them however you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of making it less complicated. Obviously, we're in here commentating, and we're trying to explain some stuff, but when you start introducing 3-point rules and it becomes complicated to the casual viewer, and they see somebody make a ball on the break, and they're like, why is the guy that made a ball on the break not at the table?
Yeah, and I think all these little rules in defense of the promoter stem from trying to make it more difficult on the player, right? And that's one of the biggest issues. These guys have gotten so good that the promoter, whoever that might be at the time, is trying to make it more difficult on the player. There's a fine line there where it gets too complicated for the fan, and what highlighting there.
I think what would be cool is if we saw like some sort of tour with the Bigfoot 10-foot table. How sweet would that be?
Yeah, that was something that Greg wanted to do, I believe, for a long time as well.
Talk about the logistical nightmare, though. Trucking 10-footers around. Moving those bad boys. Lee Van really with the commanding lead now.
Yeah, and pretty interesting break there. He's gotten the ball down. The one went high of the side that time, so whatever adjustment he made, I believe he made more contact on the one than he did the time prior. It was a good adjustment, but the one rest up next to the 5, so he got work to do. Does he use the 2, 9, and 8? Just chip the 1.
I mean, the thing is, you got to be really careful with that, because if the one's sitting over the side any type of way, Fedor's so good with the jump cue.
Yeah, you'd have to chip it thinner, maybe with a pinch of inside to make sure you clear that side pocket with the 1. Is he looking at the 1 down here in the lower left? Off the 5. Wrap the cue ball around.
That'd be a sweet shot. I hope he takes it on.
Actually pretty close. Yeah, and he's going to wrap the cue ball with a low right ball. All how thick or thin you hit the 1 here as to where it goes.
I think he's looking at the safety now, looking where he wants the cue ball.
Changed his mind.
This is a tricky little spot for Lee Van.
I think he's entertaining it. I think it's actually very close. The 1 almost, if you hit it with a middle ball or a middle cue ball to a high cue ball, I believe the 1 goes right of the lower left. That's how he's able to draw it. Yeah.
Good call, Freezer. What a nice shot there for Lee Van. That's the aggressive play that we were talking about.
Yeah, and I don't think he shoots that shot on 4-inch pockets either. I mean, ever in life.
There's 0% chance that he takes that on with
And
4-inch pockets.
Yeah, and that's where the game really shows up, in my opinion. I'm just a huge fan of it, obviously. But it is an offensive game as well, so.
I see both sides of it, though.
I agree.
Some creativity, man. Ton of body movement there from Lee Van.
Yeah, how long has he been in the States? You know?
I know he's going home after this.
Okay, so he's been here a while in the States.
Yeah.
I was wondering about jet lag, if he had just come over. That's a real factor for these guys.
Did he get away with it, though, Scott? Is Fedor going to be forced to jump here? And if he is, this is very dangerous with the 2-ball position that it is and the distance of the 5-ball. Very easy to foul here.
Yeah, he's got a lot of distance, like you said. Cue ball could come off the table. He could follow it in. And he's got to catch the right side of this, too, here.
Yeah, so he's just got to jump the edge of the 5. That's the reason why he's choosing to do it. Opposed to the Masse.
I believe that's the 3J up top. Could be wrong. Find out. It is.
Quite a few nice jump shots from Fedor, but few uncharacteristic misses to follow. Stay offensive here, Scott. Is he shooting this in the top left? He is. Just wiggled it in.
Tell you what, he's going to be snookered here, I believe. Back to the jump cue. What I was going to say is it sure seems like this, maybe the room is a little humid, right? Because if they catch any part of this rail, the ball's holding up.
Well, that's what I was saying yesterday. It was an ice box in the room. Today it's quite a bit warmer. I went up actually midday and went up and grabbed my hoodie because it was so cold. And I mean, not just kind of cold. I'm talking like freezer cold.
Yeah, you and I don't get hot or cold very often.
No.
It was like literally, I did the same thing. I had to go. Today it's the opposite, like you said. Well, he needs to come with one more great jump shot.
Yeah, and this is really all in right here, Scott. Not a ton of cover.
He's got that jump cue dialed in today.
I mean, he might as well just run out with that thing.
Yeah,
Don't even put it back, man.
Might
Just-
be better off.
Yeah, no kid, just jump this one in too. It just jump the ghost ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
You know, in thinking about that though, right? I'm just comparing the 5 that he missed last game. He's putting more focus into the jump shot, right? That's how he's coming with all these great shots. He's just putting that much more focus into it.
Well,
It makes a huge difference, obviously.
I'm going to give everybody a little bit of insight into behind the scenes of Fedor Gorst. Obviously, his young career, he's become pretty famous. obviously a lot to do with his wins, going on Joe Rogan, what he's doing on social media, how he's trying to build his brand. He's had a ton of success, but it's very, very difficult to be a pool player in that situation. And I'll tell you, Federer is very much a creature of habit. He prefers a lot of practice, and if he doesn't spend a lot of hours at the table, he is very quick to lose his confidence. And I think that's what we're seeing right now, Scott. And I'll just tell you, the tough thing is he has so many people that come up to him at an event like this. He cannot even practice. And it's frustrating thing. You know, obviously he wants fans, but it's also his job. And you know, he
Listen,
hasn't even been able to practice this week, and he wants to.
prior to social media, when I was, and I'm not even on the same atmosphere, playing nowhere near what he's at, but I get it completely. Before social media was even around, I really couldn't go to a pool room and practice without somebody wanting to say something, just talk or whatever. This guy is so big in the public eye. I personally completely understand and feel his pain, right? And not only that, everything else he's doing to keep the drive and desire to stay at the level he's at, and then also live up to the expectations of the public eye. It's you know,
Let's just call it what it is. It's exhausting.
it
And
is exhausting.
I mean, I walk around, you know, I walk around at an event like this with him, and I'm like, dude, I don't know how you do it. I mean, I just smack somebody.
Well, it
It's
won't
like I'm-
last forever.
Yeah, and you know,
It
that's the
can't.
thing. But
I mean, you
He-
just can't do it forever.
he really has to make special accommodations and do special things when he's at an event like this, be able to get privacy or to find a pool room, or he has to figure it out. He has to figure out a way. Like I told him today, this is exactly what I told him, Scott. 8:00. He wanted to practice. He couldn't practice. Tries to practice. People keep coming in. Can you sign this? Can you do that? Are you coming to this tournament? Do you remember who I am? And it's, you know, it's nobody's fault. Everybody just wants to talk to him, right? Like they watch him on his podcast, they watch him on his streams, they want to interact with him, and that's really what he wants. But the problem is it prevents him from being able to practice. And in this event, this is what I told him. He needs to get a set of headphones. He needs to get a set of headphones like Beats by Dre, so they know he has headphones on.
That's right.
And then look, he's just in the zone. Don't make eye contact with anybody. Just look at the balls and just go practice. But, I mean, listen, some people are going to get upset by it. They're going to think he's a jerk. He's here for a job. He's here to
Yeah.
win, and he can't win if he doesn't practice and if he isn't confident. And I think right now he is lacking confidence because he's not able to practice.
Yeah, I'm a pool fan, right? I'm a fan now. Used to be a player, but I'm a pool fan. And the beauty that we have as fans in this sport is that we can go right up and talk to a player.
Right.
But the other thing is, I know the other side as well, right? I also know that it's very hard to go to a pool room without having somebody want to do you. And now at Federer's level, which is, in my opinion, the highest level we've seen reached as far as stardom in the sport, a lot due to social media, but all the work he's put in and the image he's created, it can now backfire on him because he still has to keep that talent up, right? And it's a fine line, and I think you're right with the headphones. I think that's probably what it's going to result to.
Well, and I mean that was my suggestion to him. You know, the other thing is
You hire somebody to keep people away from you when you go to practice.
well, I mean, and I even made this suggestion to him today. I said, you know, go into Omega's room and practice, and I'll tell people you're practicing. Like, you know,
That's what it comes
come
down
back
to.
after the match. I mean, he said no, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that to his fans.
Yeah, but what ends up suffering in the long run is his pool game, right? So tough. I was alluding to that. Actually,
Well, burnout too. Burnout.
Yeah, you're going to get burnt out. So tough to keep that desire.
Well, a successful break there, and much needed rack here for Fedor Gorst.
He's one of those players, man. I'll tell you what, I watched him in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, you and I were talking in the finals, one of the biggest tournament in the history of night pool. There were so many matches that we could say he should have lost. and I watched it with my own eye. Always find a way to win. It's just who he is. It's in his blood. He cannot stomach losing.
He's absolutely a winner, but also I call it the Fedor effect.
Oh, it's
There-
bigger than Efren's effect was. because
People dog it to him.
Yeah.
They really. I mean, and I'm not taking anything away from him. They dog it to him because they know they have to play perfect. But right now, Fedor fighting some demons, overshooting his mark there. That long rail really bounced on him. You saw him push into the cushion there, like, what the heck? How did that ball bounce like that?
Yeah, and I don't think Lee Van's the type that's just going to dog it to him either.
No.
Right? He has body movement. He has whatever, but he's Lee Van's been playing these guys forever, so he's not going to just fall over for Fedor. But
No,
there's
Lee
a lot
Van's-
of guys that do.
There's a lot of guys that do. You're right, though. Lee Van's not one of them.
No,
He is a Filipino killer.
he
for
sure is.
certain.
Yep.
Definitely battle tested.
Yeah, he was kind of playing both balls there with
I
a
think he's gonna fluke the 7 in.
3. Now,
He got tied up there.
got to come with a jump.
I don't know if there's. Is there any future in the jump?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what else you'd do. You see enough of it to just float it down and use the 9. I don't know. Going to the jump cue. Is the 4 nearest the 8? I believe it could be the 7 nearest the 8.
And airborne once again we go. He's gonna like the result here, Scott.
No, not the way this table's bouncing. Rails seem real hot. Tells me the tables are pretty wet due to the temperature change in here today.
Tell you what, beautiful weather here in St. Augustine, Florida.
Yeah, it is. Came from Phoenix. It's perfect there as well.
Like 80 degrees here today. Teetering on that situation we were talking about in the alternate break format here. Lee Van is to capture this rack and take a 7-3 lead. He will be breaking the balls as well.
Yeah, he's got to come around table here. Got options. Does he draw out of this or does he go 3 rails? The 9, a big ball.
Yeah, I'm like you. I think he's going to go 3 rails, but guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is he'd like to get behind this 7 ball, meaning on the, on the right end of that long rail over there towards the first time and play it to the left side pocket if he could somehow. I don't know that it's possible. Is the carom on the 8 available, or is that even worth taking a chance on? I think he's got to try to get closer behind the 7 somewhere here. Now he's looking at the carom.
Like you, I think you got to go ahead and get through this ball, though, and either get on the long rail on the right-hand side or maybe even go into the balls.
Yeah, take your chance there, even if you have to go into them. I'd rather be closer to this ball than further away. 9 really is a problem here, though, if you want to wrap it with speed around to get to the back side of it. So he's probably just going to take his medicine and come out here. Now he's looking at. I thought he might be able to use a stun low ball here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he can beat the 9. I think he can come out underneath the 9.
Yeah, he can if he doesn't hit it too hard, but if he tries to hit it with speed, that cue ball is going to bend, I think, a little bit, right? And warp up to the bottom side of it. It all depends on how hard he hits it. Oh, he had plenty of room to your point.
He's
over.
the ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's ideal.
I like that. I really did.
Yeah, taking the chance, right?
Either you get behind the balls and
Right.
you can play safe, or you run into the balls. I mean, you had to get pretty unfortunate there to run into that 7 ball, not come out with something.
And this is not a good sign for Gorst. Had his opportunities. Really, the one that sticks out to me is the 5. I think he just decelled on it a little bit. The edge of the rail and the ball held up here in the lower right corner. Really going to sting.
We've been 2 balls away from going up 7-3 here. Race to 10, alternate break. Will be Lee Van's break as well. This is the 3rd round here at the International Open in St. Augustine, Florida. Very first year here. Venue.
Oh, look at the ball spring.
Yeah, it's definitely getting in that danger zone right here. The Gorst camp.
The 10. Also, like you said, Lee Van to break. At what point do you rely on a little bit of luck? I think it's pretty much there at that point now. Needs a couple things to go his way and capitalize as well. Yeah, what a nice room this is. Mega action room. How tight is the table that I'm looking at, Jason?
That's from the U.S. Open, so that's 4 inches.
Oh, wow. Right.
A pretty nice shot of the referee right there. Looks like matching hair with the uniform. Something you would do, Scott.
Yeah.
I wonder if she has silver shoes on too.
The key to that, Jay, is that I don't have to color my hair anymore.
Yeah, but your shoes are always matching your outfit. That's one
I've
thing.
kind of gotten away with that and gotten away
Oh,
from that in the last 10 years.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, I have.
Usually you have a matching watch, matching shoes.
I've definitely gotten away from the matching watches.
I'll leave in getting a couple kisses there.
Yeah, and he's going to have a tester out of the gate here with the blue, too. It's not guaranteed position either. He's going to have to put something on it. Maybe just a touch of right.
Maybe even just a high ball, right? Like,
yeah, the 3 down here below the 9. I feel like it might require a little inside.
that's
Just a little.
This is ultra tough with just a high ball. Introduce a little bit of inside. It's almost not even worth shooting, I think.
Just the way the table's bouncing. Like the 4 over here could really be a big ball if you just use a flat high ball.
This is, like you said, this is a tester here. He decides to do.
Get into the cue ball real well, so he's nice and level. But a touch, just half a tip of inside on it. Yeah.
Did just that and he drilled it. What a nice shot there. But it almost overran the mark. Let's see those rails are, Scott.
Yeah, they're playing pretty hot. A lot of people in the room.
Out there, though. Very well done by Lee Van.
Yeah, and
One behind the back here.
awkward here. Up and down. This is going to bounce. Really bounce. Turned out just fine.
Absolutely perfect, really.
Believe it or not, I still feel like this is a little tricky.
Yeah, I mean,
He'd like to get all the way out towards the center here, so he can just come up one rail. He doesn't want to cut the 6. And that's what he's trying to do. I think this will hold with an inside ball.
I think we'll see him go ahead and go all the way around here.
Yeah,
think
you
he's
can
gonna
just,
use
the
an
cue ball
inside?
can get away from you there if you come all the way around.
Gonna use inside, like you said.
Yeah, just because he doesn't want to end up straight or long on the 8. Look at how the ball is
Bit
biting.
a ton.
Oh, it is definitely
It's got a little awkward here, Scott.
moisture in there.
Could be straight here.
Yeah, and that's the whole reason that he played the cue ball the way he did the shot prior, is just so he could get out towards the center and carry an angle on the 8. But the cue ball bit on him so much here that, well, he got where he would have gotten if he would have gone with an outside ball on the 6.
You gonna have to go forward here?
Now that's very missable then.
Phew.
I don't think you can risk going forward.
Treacherous here. He may have a little bit more angle than it appears.
No, he was pretty flat. It's about as fortunate or as good as he could get. He knew he was probably going into the 9 the whole time there.
Similar to the 6 ball we saw him miss. Kind of close to it. A little bit off angle.
Yeah, and the comfort of these players is typically to go to the side here, but I feel like the corner is a bigger pocket. Gonna go to the side.
Got there by Lee Van. Continues his run. 8-3 is the score here.
Yeah, and that's what Lee Van will do, right? Doesn't matter who he's playing. He doesn't have that effect. He will take advantage of any errors and just kind of gotten away from better. Come with, I don't know what he's come with, 4 or 5 amazing jump shots this match. Really just never finished the job, those racks.
Yeah, just too many unforced errors. 5 ball, missed the 8 ball. The 8 ball was tough, but you
Yeah.
expected him to get out there. Like you said, that stemmed from coming up short from the 7 to the 8. And that crazy rack that was about 20 innings on the 7 ball.
Yeah, that was a huge rack. That was a huge rack.
And the miss on the 5.
And to follow that up, that was really
no.
the dagger there.
Well, and then the hook, when he hooked himself on the 7 to the 6. Remember when he
Yeah,
got,
but that wasn't that off a jump shot.
No, he got perfect on the 5 ball with an angle and stayed behind the 7, hooked himself on the 6. He missed the 5. He missed an 8 ball. He missed a 5 ball. He hooked himself from the 5 to the 6.
Yeah,
So it's-
probably 5 or 6 errors.
Yeah.
Pretty big errors.
If he can clean them up here, Scott, apply a little pressure to Lee Van.
I'll tell you what, this is what he does best. I don't know that I've seen too many players come from behind like Gorst, but not going to get it done like this. He's going to come up dry. Got to be frustrating as well, because you want to, I don't want to harp on the subject, but I think about it a lot being in Fedor's position. A lot of people oblivious to it. He's so much busier than most people really think, and the expectations that are warranted on him can really become heavy. And when you finally do get an opportunity to practice in public, you can't. When you need to, you can't. It can really, I can assume it could really be heavy.
Well, y'all, the other thing is taking off the WPA events. He traveled to New Zealand and to all those tournaments with Christina didn't play. So he took some extended time off. Obviously had a nice result at the Puerto Rico Open, coming runner-up to Vitali at Sura. They had a nice event there, but very much a creature of habit and likes to practice, likes to, feel his arm
Yeah, his
get
game
going.
is designed around practice, right? That's how. I mean, I those fundamentals, just really who he is.
Look at this cue ball here by Lee Van. Really torturing him.
Yeah, and add insult to injury, I think he's moved the 5 enough where the 2 is playable to the top right corner. Torture
Yeah,
is a great word.
If you're Fedor here, you just have to give a ton of care to this kick. Might be your last opportunity.
Yeah, and it's not easy either. We were just touching on this last match. You're going to a bare ball out in the middle of the table with massive spin. So tough to judge, and he's overcooked it. The rails are really grabbed. That's why that happened. You know, on newer cloth, you expect the cue ball to kind of slide off that rail versus grab. Just overcooked it.
A tricky little out here, Scott.
Yeah, the 3 down here low. Oh, the 4 and 8. 2 up there nearest the 5. I thought he moved the 5 out of the way enough to where the 2 goes. I don't think he'd be acting like this if that was the case.
Oh, he's drawing up the carom. It appears.
Boy, I almost like coming below the 2-5 here. It's something I would consider, right? Because you could really wedge Fedor up under that 5 and use these balls down low if you don't want to take the carom chance.
What about going into him? Ball in hand here.
Yeah, just how do you go into him? Off the long rail on the right side?
Yeah, off the long rail on the right side. You just hit above the side pocket.
I think the problem there, though, is, Jay, if you do happen to miss him doing that, then the defensive play is that much tougher.
Yeah, but you still have a wall of balls up here where you could thin the 2 some type of way. Looking for something to stay offensive if I'm Lee Van.
Yeah, that's why I like going below it. I feel like you can play it in the left side pocket. If you don't get perfect, you can just really stitch him up.
2 rails into him. Got just a flick. Not enough, Scott. I like the play. I mean, I think it came out as poorly as it could have for Lee Van. He still has an opportunity.
Yeah, I think there's other players that would have played that differently. I mean, you can't fault him for what he chose.
I mean, at this level, I'm never gonna second guess a player being offensive.
I fully agree.
But
I think
I agree with what you said too, though. He could have gone offensive and given himself a better defensive option if he didn't get there.
Right, especially as good as he laid him up the shot prior. So I know a lot of Europeans that would have just wedged Fedor up there, and Fedor might have wedged Fedor up there.
Yeah, but nonetheless, Lee Van did enough to get the first shot here.
Yeah, the 2 does pass the 7, right?
Yeah.
He's looking at it like it's close. Maybe.
He may have to touch a little bit of the rail. I think it goes. Get in.
Yeah, does he stay on the bottom side of this 4, or do you try and get above it and hold? That's a little dangerous. It's better to stay on the lower end here, but
Yeah, I don't disagree. Leads you to the 5 as long as you get on the proper angle.
you just don't want that cue ball taken off on you trying to draw this and get out towards the 6 somewhere. See, this is
exactly what you said.
this is the problem, trying to draw that ball off a springy table.
It was just so simple to just stay below it, wasn't it, Scott? Like, it was just, I know players don't like to shoot that.
Yeah, just a drag ball, stay low. You've got so many options that way. This is just what the doctor ordered for Gorst. He needed a miracle, and I believe he's gotten one. Early in game number 12.
Was it really all about a decision, wasn't it, Scott?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's made a couple awkward decisions here late. Yeah, and he might have got away with this. Now, I think Fedor can chop this in the middle.
Yeah, but what's the cue ball going to do?
I think it's good. I think he can miss the 9 and the 7, come up between the 7, 8, and 6. Play over there on that left long rail. I think he's okay here, believe it or not. Unless this camera angle is completely misleading me, which due to where the 4 is, I believe this is makeable with a thin ball, and you just swing the cue ball 2 to 3 rails up to that left long rail.
He's waiting on the table next to him. Like that's Robbie Capito's stroke there. Top left-hand corner of our screen.
He had a pretty big win here. What was it? Was it the European Open?
Oh,
He had a pretty big win this year and a little quiet afterwards.
player though.
Yes, he is.
See if Fedor can make a run here.
Just know this cue ball is going to really bounce off this bottom rail.
And it did. You were right. Had the perfect line to get right where he needed to go. Wouldn't all the traffic there, Scott.
Yeah, I got a little fortunate there that all he had to do was really put the focus into the make.
On the winner of this match, we'll play the winner of Robbie Capito and Jonas Suto. And Robbie Capito leading 8-7 right now, Scott.
Close.
Barn burner there. Table 5.
Still haven't pegged Suto's game. I've watched him play some, and boy, he's got a real high gear.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of upside in his game. Entertaining to watch as well.
Falling on the low side of the 6. Ball got a little hot there. It's not going to be a problem. 7 is. 3 rails here.
Might actually be a little better. Getting an opportunity to touch some rails and feel it. You know, in these situations where you've missed your mark and your cue ball's been bad, sometimes it's a little good to work the cue ball in a wide zone just to kind of feel it.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to fall victim to the same thing that Corteza did last shot, so he's going to play the wise move and just come 1 rail over, playing the 8 either to the top, left, or the middle, depending on where he ends up here. But that's the right play. That's the mature play. It's the same thing that Corteza could have done earlier in this game.
Yeah, and I think we'll see him take this one in the side. A little easier to gain position on the 9. Shooting it that way. Drag it out above it. 2 balls away here.
Too little, too late. He really seems to dial in when his back's against the wall, but touching on the alternate break format.
That's this right here. This match right here is proving our point, I think.
Well,
maybe. I mean, you don't know. You don't know. Maybe he comes back and it makes it that much more exciting.
That being said, I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask Mark Wilson to highlight what Pat's found over the years, because they do stats, right? Stats. They're very good at it. He was adamant that Pat has proven that the alternate break format has really equaled out or leveled out just like the winter break format over the years.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that stat is. I'm not refuting it. I'm just saying that in general, for me, when I'm watching or I'm thinking about what makes the best tournament, it's what does the spectator like to watch.
I think it all has to do with pocket size as well, though. I go back to that.
But
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but
even if it is pocket size, and I don't disagree with your point, like the tight pockets neutralizes the break. It gives you a lot more play.
Right.
And the alternate break format is supposed to give you a lot more play.
Well, I commentate for Matchroom, right? And very rarely do we see somebody break and run 4 racks, if we see it ever. If we see it ever.
But the fact of the point is, winter break, you can grab the table and
control it.
And keep it. You don't have to break and run to keep the table.
Sure. I could play devil's advocate to that, though.
If you're breaking and making the 1 ball successfully and you're controlling the table, you don't have to break and run. You don't have to break and run to keep the table. It doesn't have to be a package.
No, absolutely. It's all about control, right?
Especially at this level. And that, that's the advantage of the alternate break format is always have a chance to defend yourself, right?
Agreed. Agreed. Where I think, and I'm trying to be biased here, but that's where I think the beauty of the game in the one pocket lies, right? Where you're going to get a chance to defend yourself.
Right.
And I think that they're trying to make the game a little bit more like that. Whereas, and I go back to the pockets again, if you have big pockets, then of course you can't defend yourself when it's a winter break. But if the pockets are tighter, I think it makes a difference.
No, I agree with you. Either way.
But he's going to have to push out here. So there's another opportunity for Gorst to at least gain control, whether he likes it or not. It all depends on how much of this 3 on the lower right side he can catch. Without the kiss, he'd like to be able to send the 3 back up to the top rail and use the 8 and 9 here, but I think the kiss is on. I think
he's giving this one back. I don't know how you take this one on.
Not going to double jump this for sure. Yeah, I think Lee Van might have wanted to put a little more thought into that layout. Excuse me, push out. I don't exactly know where else he could have gone, though.
You going to introduce an extreme spin here? Oh, he went offensive on the thing.
Boy, he had a lot. Fedor's gotten away with that, but boy, the kiss was nowhere in play, so I'm a little surprised that Fedor even passed that up, actually.
I thought he was thinner on that.
Same here.
Yeah, nonetheless, he's hit the window. Fedor with an opportunity here. Lee Van's break as well. It feels like it's now or never, Scott. Can't afford another error.
Yeah, he needs this to run. I think he's going to get it just barely. Yeah, he might have to just come one rail back up. He draw out of this. He's able to punch. Fedor, a huge fan of the outside ball.
Definitely prefers to hit it with a firm stroke if he can. Doesn't like slow rolling anything. A lot of center ball.
Very well judged.
Like you said, though, Scott, your point earlier, the cue ball is really taking a lot of spin off these rails.
Yeah, and that's what will happen when there's a little moisture on the cloth. Nothing wrong with it if you know it's going to happen, right? It's just part of the game.
Actually, I prefer it.
Absolutely.
If you know it's going to happen, I prefer that, to be able to spin the ball and take away some of that slide.
These guys just aren't used to that.
Right. At 8-5. Better to break. Wonder if that's a wig, Scott. Is that a wig or is that just die?
Oh.
I'm gonna
But it's
go
a
ask
clean
her.
cut. I know that. It's a clean cut. Well, I tell you what. I mean, if Fedor breaks and runs here within 2, pressure starts to lie back on Corteza. What was the biggest deficit? What was the score?
8-3, right?
Yeah.
I think 5 games.
Funny things happen. I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like how Fedor came back. Saudi Arabia in some of these matches. Just insane. And you just got to a point where you knew he was coming back. 4 or 5 matches, I think. He was, like, completely dead. Found a way to win.
Desperately needs a successful break. We've yet to see him have a really successful break, Scott. He hasn't, I don't think he's broken around any racks. Maybe 1. I've seen him make the 1 ball 1 time in this match. Up dry, at least the last 2. Better right now is the time to find the break. Be able to make a ball so you can defend.
Yeah.
Really got to keep Lee Van off the hill here, Scott.
No, I agree. I don't know how the table's breaking because that too changes with humidity, but I feel like the more of the one that these guys are catching, the more it's going in the side here at this venue.
There was ever a time for a golden break, now's it.
And just a little thin on the one. It comes just short. The right side.
But he got a ball down, Scott.
Got a good look.
No, he did not get a ball down.
Yeah, he is dry.
Dry as a bone. Lee Van got the good look.
And the one catching the point, short side. That side pocket. Oh,
We do have a couple balls tied up here, right over Lee Van's left shoulder.
yeah, the 6 and 8, I believe.
Like the combo's there, though, Scott.
It is. It's not big problems. This is really a little tricky. He's got to come out between the... Oh, he's tried to come above it, so it's going to really spring on him. I can't believe if he was playing that to the side. I just don't feel like he was playing the 2 to the left side that whole time, but maybe he was.
Take his medicine here and play it in the top left, or...
And this is falling perfect. The 4 up there past the 5. Go forward.
See if Lee Van can stay still here.
Yeah, because he's got to float it in. You're right.
The shot where body movement can really get you. It's sweet. Get all the way through the ball there.
Yeah, he's flowing real nice here. 4. I think Jason touched. 6-8. Really looks pretty straightforward. Giving it some thought, though. I don't know exactly what he's second guessing here. Got a pretty steep angle on the 2. I don't know what his process is here going through the mind. Unless that 6-8 is a lot more awkward than it looks.
It looks pretty straightforward to me. Also, it looks like the 6 is available in the top right. Potentially even the side.
Yeah, but I think it has almost all the pockets except the top left and lower left. Boy, that was dangerous the way this table's playing. I am surprised he tried to stay short side of the 5 there. And that tells me even more on the shot earlier when I was surprised he was playing the 2 at the left side. Playing it in the lower left corner. That, he was just playing the right side pocket and it sprung on him.
Where's the safety here, Scott? Does he just thin this 5 ball some type of way, or?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's got to play it to the left long rail. Unless is it makeable into the side? Did he get a little fortunate? It's thin.
You just go for distance here.
I like your call. I like thin in the 5, like you said, Jay.
Gotta be.
I can guarantee you, Gorst is wanting him to do the same thing.
Anything other than offense is what
Exactly.
Fedor's wanting right now. Just please don't have a shot in the side is what he's saying.
Exactly.
He doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so he might draw this. Yeah, and that's what he did. He went right into the 7, though.
He's not going to like any of that.
So is the...
I'm really surprised he didn't just thin the ball and come down.
Is the Fedor factor taking place there a little bit, maybe?
Well, it's a little tough to tell not being able to see all the players. He could have just been on tilt because he missed position there, right? And just not in the right state of mind to make the proper decision.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe that I even touched on why he was taking so much time. I assumed he'd just punch out to the center of the table on the fight. Try and get short side.
Better able to cut this ball?
I believe so. Cue ball's going to get hot, though. He's got to hit this easy. Look at how
corner.
hot it got. That's almost impossible to scratch to the top right at that angle. So it come off real short. Real short.
Just the break that Lee Van needed there. Get to the hill here. 4 balls away.
Play this 6 in the right-hand middle pocket if you have to.
All the way up, too.
Yeah, very hard to believe that that cue ball scratched there, but it was going to come around hot, even if it didn't scratch. Still be at the table, though.
Gotta point out, this is a double elimination tournament down to the final 16. Once it gets to the final 16, it is single elim. So whoever does lose this match has another bullet, and we'll go to the B side and have an opportunity to get back to the final 16. A lot of great matches today, too, Scott. You want to sweat the action and check out all the live scores in the bracket, go out to digitalpool.com. 9-5's the score. Decent to 10. Lee Van to break. Tell you one man that's happy it's alternate break right now, and that's Lee Van.
No doubt about it.
He's
There-
getting a little closer to the middle every time.
He is. And there's no doubt about being in Fedor's shoes. It's a dejecting thing to be behind 4 or 5 games. But boy, look at the one way up the side pocket there. He's got it real full. It's a dejecting thing to have a pretty big deficit. It is only 4 games, but he's got to dodge 2 or 3 extra bullets off of Lee Van's break.
I mean, the one saving grace for Fedor is Lee Van's breaking not very good. Not very well.
No, he's not.
Not taking anything away from him, but his break is not consistent. The one ball's not even close. He's trying to spin the wing ball in. He's been making a ball, but not the same one consistently.
No, he hasn't.
And the cue ball has been all over the place.
It's almost like he's been forced to play some type of a defensive play or a push out after his break every time. Not a factor of Gorst not getting to the table. He has.
You looking at taking on an offensive bank here? What you looking at?
I don't know if he's looking to chip the top side of the 1 and just come below the 5.
It's risky.
Seems pretty steep to bank the ball there.
I agree. Not an easy spot.
No, definitely not.
Can you see enough of the ball to drag the cue ball down the long rail?
That might be all right, but I don't know if the 1's off enough. Hit it with speed if he does that.
He took on the bank. Watch out, corner pocket. What a shot that was.
Very solid.
Are you kidding me?
Well, you touched on that earlier as well. You can't win by being passive. And this guy isn't that type, right? He does know how to close. We've seen him do it for years.
Well, that's a second uber aggressive play after the break. The first one was the when he played the 1 off of the other ball on the bottom left here. It was really a creative shot. Bank right there. Went all in on it.
Yeah, he sure did. He committed completely, and this is clean as a whistle as well.
Lee Van looking like he's gonna be victorious here in the third round.
7. Top left, really nothing in his way from here.
Another big shout out to Omega Billiards for allowing us to bring this match to you live here. This is Jason Sword and none other than Scott the Freezer Frost. We close this one out.
He chose to go to the top side of the 8 there. A little more dangerous. I felt like that cue ball could get hot and get in behind the 8. He steered free and clear. Anywhere on the left side of the table, though, was no risk at all. That's why I'm here, and he's there. Okay.
Another friendly reminder, if you're out there tuning in on Fedor's YouTube channel, make sure you check out Omega Billiards on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, a little weak there. A little jump up for sure before contact.
You'll be okay, though, Scott.
Yeah,
Manage this.
no doubt.
But you're right. Ton of body movement from Lee Van.
Yeah, and that time it was before contact. I was really paying attention. Stayed down. Gonna be it, Jay.
Touch there from Lee Van. On the winning 9 ball. All for us.
Yeah, and thanks again to Omega Billiards for having me, and thank you, Jay. I enjoyed it.
Had fun. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Good night.
Thank you all. Have a good one.